Okay. Excellent. Good morning. Okay. So what we're doing today, yes, before we get started, please, I want to see your little water baby drawings. Please email them to my Uni College account. Okay? Guys, please maybe mute yourselves. Malebo?
Yes.
Maybe mute yourself. Everybody mute yourself because you guys are creating huge amounts of noise. We can chat on the chat app. Yeah, you guys have that there on the side. So if you need to ask a question, just chat or maybe unmute yourself and ask the question if you want. The second order of business is the school has requested that we move to Microsoft Meet. Yeah. Now that Microsoft Meet is an app that works very similar to Zoom. It supposedly uses less data, as well as it allows me to put your assignments onto it. It allows me to put everything that you will require for the course there. And it can also record. So please will you load Microsoft Meet and maybe have it ready. I think they're going to be doing a big kind of test tomorrow with all of you. Please just follow what the school says. If we use Meet and Microsoft Meet and it doesn't work for us, we're going to go back to Zoom, okay? But it seems to be better. Everybody, thumbs up on your chat and video. I know that you've heard me. Amanda, please respond yes if you're not using video. Gareth, respond yes on your chat. Okay, Gareth. Thank you. Okay, now let me start sharing my screen. You can all see my screen, yeah? Okay, now we're going to need a little bit of interaction, so please turn on your microphones and make sure that you try and keep as quiet as possible because I do need to hear from you that you understand what we're doing. Okay, so you guys had to draw a little monster and then you had to color him in, yes? We guys all completed that and you're happy with that. This is the little guy that I created and drew. Oh, sorry, pardon me, guys. Alex speaking. Well, and you?
Whoa. What's up?
Okay. Now, you see my little green man? Yes?
Yep.
Very basic, very simple, very much to the point. I didn't spend too much time drawing it. I didn't spend a huge amount of time coloring in. I just made sure that it had a little bit of texture to it, a little bit of funky funk, yeah? Now, that I think works quite nicely as a simple vector drawing. But sometimes we don't want to just do a vector drawing, we want to do something that is a little bit more cool, a little bit more arty, yeah? Sean, this is specifically for you. I reckon you're going to have a jewel with this one. The rest of you are going to enjoy it, but I think Sean is going to be the one that loves it. So now, if you look at what I've got here, I've also now got the line drawing. So these are just the outlines that exist, okay? Now this is, it may work slightly different from Mac to Windows. We're going to have to see how it goes, and you guys are going to have to maybe share your screen if things are going wrong. But very simply, this is how I do it. Highlight here. So I've highlighted my little mannequin. You still seeing my screen, hey everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Control Apple, so Command C, which is my copy, and I go straight to video, to Photoshop. Excuse me, I've got a million things open here. I want to keep that open. Keep that open. I'll just create a new one here. What is this shit? Go to this screen here away from me so you can see all my tools. And I press Apple New or Control New, and I've got a custom here, but I don't want it to be that custom. I want it to be print A4 to marry what I'm doing in Illustrator, yes? And I click create. And it immediately just brings up a blank document. And I press Control V and I get to choose with paste, smart object, pixels, path, or shape layer. For this particular exercise, we're just going to use a smart object, okay? And it automatically previews in Photoshop, and I double click on it, and he's there. Now, if you have a look at your layer section, you should have your background, and you should have your vector smart object. Okay. Everybody get that?
Yes.
Use enough thumbs up, yeah? We're going to use the thumbs up sign so I know what's going on with everybody. Wow, is that me or you guys? Okay. Amanda, because you're not using video, I just want you to put in the chat, yes, okay? Where the hell is my chat? There, haha. Yeah. Gareth, I'm not seeing you as well. Also, please put a yes up so you know what's going on. Yes. Okay. So now, this is probably the first time you've seen Photoshop, yeah? Okay. Let's have a look at Photoshop again. When you are working in Photoshop, I want you to make your workspace the essentials. It's just the typical way. It's the way that I know. I've been using Photoshop for so long that they've got all of this stuff happening down the side of the thingy, and you can do whatever you want. Just for the sake of I know what's going on, let's use essentials for a while. Once you know the application, you can choose whichever one you want. Okay. So now again, as per usual, we have the main menu ribbon, we have the property bar, we have your toolbox, we have your property toolbox, and there's a lot of them now. Eh? I mean, I actually tend to do this. Okay, just to give me more working space. You'll see now your layers pops up, lacquer, your pods, which is what we're going to be using mostly on this, are going to be the two important things. What is the first thing then we use layers? We give it a name. Yes? So now I want monster dash outline. Dig it. It makes sense. I know what I'm looking at when I'm there. Yeah? Now, you should have been using a whole lot of primitives to make this. Because some of you may have drifted off and I've drifted off, what we're now going to do is we're going to do the other side of this, and it is crazy. It is tough. Do not think that what I'm asking you to do, I believe to be an easy task, because this is the basis of all Photoshop work. 99% of all Photoshop work that you do is going to be revolving around this particular tool. Okay. So let's first start. I'm going to click on my background. It's locked. It's white. Click off it. Click on it. Yeah. I'm going to create a new layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the whole monster key. So I now look at my Illustrator. I'm going to try and replicate this with a little bit of coolness added to it. Yes? Okay. So the whole thing is green. So I click on my pen tool. And you know it's a pen tool because it's got a little pen nib on it. And I find, what I do is I find a corner, a sharp corner. And make sure that when you go to, where is it now? Bugger. Sorry, this is brand new to me as well. Yeah, rubber band. I like using the rubber band. The rubber band just shows you what you're doing as you're drawing, okay? So you click on that little toolbox up there. Thickness 1 pixel is perfect. Default is perfect. Rubber band turn on. because it won't default to on. Then what I do is I go underneath, and what I'm pretty much doing is I'm tracing the black line all the way around. I'm doing it from the outside in. I'll show you why in a little while. And what I want you to do before you even start coloring in, and actually, no, then it's just boring. We'll do one path and we'll color it in. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a path. Zoe, are those your dogs going mad?
My what?
Dogs.
Oh no, it's not my dogs.
Now there is a little trick. Not a little trick, it is what it is. I did a crap curve there, trying to be too smart. And guys, you are going to have to use your shortcut keys for zoom and move your artboard around and everything a hell of a lot. Because sometimes you want to see it from far away because you're looking at getting the curve. And sometimes you get close in order for you to be accurate. Okay, now you have to think of it as creating an object, a shape, and finishing that object. You have to see that you don't create half-filled objects, half-corrected objects. You need to go from beginning to the origin back again. Okay, now, if you click on your paths, you'll see a work path. Let me just go back to layers quickly. I'm going to turn that off. You see what you see? It's exactly the same as what you would have seen in Illustrator, yeah? Except if I click off this, it's not there. This is a virtual path. In Illustrator, you actually drew that shape. This now, you've created a shape that doesn't really exist. Move your phones away from your speakers, please. Okay. So, you double click on it and you give it a name, please, so we know what we're talking about. Now, that would be, let's call this outside line. Okay, so now it's there and it is saved. You can turn it off, you can turn it on, you can carry it on if you want. Now what I want to do is, let's go choose the color. Oh, this. So I need to move it to a place where I can. Okay, the color that I'm wanting to use is that screen here. It's not particularly important. There's your hex code for your color. Copy it. So highlight the thing, copy it, press OK. Go to Photoshop, go to Illustrator, and you paste your code in there and it'll automatically come up. Yeah? Add to swatches. Let's call it monster green. Never use swatches much in Photoshop anyway, but okay. Okay, so we've got the green selected. Now what we're going to do, and this is a shortcut again, is you're holding Command, and it will be your Windows key. Whoever is doing this with me, or whoever can do it now, just confirm the key, because I use a different keyboard. Remember, I use an Apple keyboard. You hold Command, and you click on it, and you can select it. Or you can go there and say Make Selection. Make Selection, feather radius, always 0.2, comma 2. Okay, comma 2 is comma 2 of a pixel. It just doesn't give it such a hard edge. It's a nice little habitable. Okay, and now we go back to our layers. I make sure I've selected my new layer that I've created, so it's not in the background, and it's not in the outline, it's the new layer. I go to my paint bucket here, which shortcut is G, and I click. And it will automatically fill that selected layer. Then you deselect it with Control D, and you'll see it filled in with no shaky lines, there isn't even a path line around it. You can see my path line there, click off it, no path line. Now let's make our monster outline visible again. You see what's happening. He's filled in and we've got our line still. Now, Sean, if you want to give it that kind of slick street art style, you can leave the black mark in. Or if you want to, you can start taking it out. Now, very simply, you're going to go and we're going to now do, let's find the next one that we want to do. So let's call this monster outline again. We're going to put a new layer above it. And next, if we go back to AI, I'm going to put this dark together now. Yeah? So where's the dark? It's that area, that area, that area, all the way around. Now, this is where you start seeing how cool Photoshop can actually be. Just want to confirm here. Yep. Okay, so I go to my pen tool again. I click and drag to make the curve. I click and drop, make it a sharp curve. I bend it around. And I filled up that first one. But I want to have them all controlled the same way. So what I'm doing is I've closed that path and I've gone to the new path and I'm doing this one as well. And this one is also controlled. So at the same time, I'm now using I'm creating multiple parts that will be connected or be seen as one single unit. Oi. Better. Anybody want to ask any questions or make any observations while we are sitting here? Any clever quips? Okay, now say you go wrong. Have a look here. It's not the best curve, yeah? So now I want to fix that curve. I click on the black one. The black cursor selects the whole thing, exactly the same as Illustrator. If you click and hold, you'll get to direct selection, which is the white one. And then if you click on a node, you can come back and adjust your curve so it is as perfectly perfect as you can want it to be. And you literally go and check that all your nodes and all your paths are looking beautiful. And this is why it doesn't become an instant object, because it does give you the opportunity to go back and check. Okay, so that's, to be honest, that's perfect enough for me at this particular chapter, because it is a lesson for you guys to be doing this. But now I've got, oh, wait, yes, ooh, nearly screwed up. Okay, and we've got these holes in the shadow. And this is why Photoshop is so brilliant, because it will on its own figure out that that's a punch out instead of trying to make you do all the work. So now you see that I've got all the shadows sorted out, all the darker green stuff. I go to my parts. Remember my outside line, we've saved it. You've got another work part now, the shadow. Now it's saved as well. Let's go and make a selection. We always wanted at 0.2. Go to your layers. Let's put it on the new layer. Let's create as many layers as we can. Okay. And now let's go to your Illustrator file. I want to use that green. I've highlighted it. I've copied it. And I go back to Photoshop. Plug it in. Add to swatches. And that's shadow green. It's okay. I go to my paint bucket tool and I drop it down. Oh, there is a screw up. Huh? There is a mess that I made. These dots here, I forgot to put them in. So, just for the sake, we're going to say that Alex was clever enough and he wanted to do this. You click on shadow. You go back to there. You go back to your pen tool and you can fill in all of these. And what it will do is it will add to that path. Oh, that is a cuck one. Get back. Guys, I've probably seen one person in my entire life that can get the path done perfectly without having to go back and revise it. It just is something, and please remember, I've been doing this for 20 years. You are now going to start doing this stuff, and you're going to go, but he did it so quickly. Guys, please understand that you will get even faster than I am. If you start practicing this now, you will get better and better. Okay, so is that all the shadow? No, his eye as well. What I would like you guys to try and do is use as few nodes as possible. The fewer the nodes, the smoother the line. Okay, let's check him again. Under his eye. I think I've actually made a screw up with my line drawing. I didn't clean it properly. This section here, I don't think should be there, but I can show you how to fix it later on. Okay, so that's all of it now. I tend to just double click it again to make sure. Make selection, 0.2, go to your layers. I just want to show you what's happening now. It's always better to have a white thing. Make sure you click off your idiot. So I've made selection again. And you can refill. Then Control D or deselect will then make it go away. So let's now have a look at what we've got so far. You've got your line and you've got your shadow. You can easily click between what's going on. Yeah? So let's call this shadow. Now, Shawnee, this is where you start having a bit of fun. I want to see some coolness here, okay? Now, in the shadow, let's just say in the shadow we're going to do something cool. Let's select it again. You know, you can make whatever. Just hold Control and click on it. You'll see that there's a little box tiny little box there, that thing there, and then you know you've got it, and you press select, yeah? Let's go and create a new layer in case Alex screws it up completely, because Alex doesn't paint very well. So we've got a paintbrush here. You click on your paintbrush, and it brings up stuff about your paintbrush there. Your flow, your opacity, the size, what it works, if you got any presets on, smoothing, you can change your angle, you can do stroke catch up on stroke end, adjust for zoom. There's bunches of stuff. Airbrush is nice. I like using airbrush. Airbrush has a bit of a different feel. So you can use it on or off. I want you to experiment. But now let's see what it is going to be. I'm going to go with a slightly bigger brush. The hardness I'm going to keep small. The hardness, the greater the hardness, the more edged it is as you draw it. Okay. So you've got bunches of stuff that you can have a look at here. Really, you can have a bit of a fun. Special effects. I would rather you at this stage have some fun, because I'm going to stop you from using these later on, because they just, people make cuck out of it. Okay, so hardness 0, size 30, great. And then I want to start off with that green, but I want to go a little bit darker. Okay, and my opacity I'm going to drop down very low. I always start low with my opacity and build up. Rather use several strokes, and you can build it up beautifully, as opposed to doing it once and it's there for good. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, that's not enough of a difference. I want to see if it's me or if the color that I've chosen, it's slightly there. I think we're going to stick with that, because I want to go several times over. But you just, this is when you would like to have a Wacom tablet, because it does feel more intuitive when you use a Wacom tablet. And you slowly but surely add a little bit of coolness to it. You see what's happening now? Thumbs up if you see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're
dope.
doing, so now I'll put that there. What you can start doing is look at this toolbox here, a blur tool. I'm going to make my brush size even bigger. Now I'm going to now, I would again mask it, and 118 is too much, because a mask will allow you to not do it on the outside. It will not allow you, it will stop you from pushing your ink into the wrong side of your line. But the blur tool is quite nice if you're going to go slowly and just work those two colors together. Okay. Where else can we start having a bit of fun? Let's put some, okay, so I'm going to go to my monster outline again. I'm going to highlight it. In actual fact, no, what I want you to do is that I'm actually going to create for the inside of my monster. Wow. What happened now, machine? Sorry, something went haywire there. What happened? Sorry, something has gone wrong. Okay, let me just save my work down, because something is giving me hassles. Where my OneDrive? Uni College 2020. No, remote lesson for monster. let's keep it all in Photoshop for the time being, yeah? Keep it layered and keep it in embed color profile RGB, it's fine. Okay. My apologies for that. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to actually create an inside line for my monster. You know what, I'm going to do it on this one. Guys, it's absolute importance that you remember to save, and you remember to save everything that you've, as you're working, work it then save, work it then save, work it then save. Because if you lose, you see, I've been doing this now, it's been 5 minutes. Imagine if I now spend this 46 minutes and the computer hangs or whatever it may be, suddenly trouble. Okay, let me go fix up my. I saw somewhere else I did a bit of a palooka move here. There. Okay, and then. Okay, now we go to parts. I go to my new work path and I'm going to call this monster inner. Okay, now the monster inner, we've saved it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mask it to select it. And now, because I enjoy doing dumb things, let's go to light green that side. Okay, 30. Oh God, that's something else altogether. Okay, I'm going to 46, great. Now, oh, there is a problem that I've done. I didn't mask off this area, but make sure we're on a new layer. We call it highlight. Boom. Okay. What I would like you to do is I would like you to now try and replicate your monster that you created in Illustrator in Photoshop as close as you can get it. Okay. Where's Shawnee? Okay, he's here. Zoe, you should have shown it earlier. I didn't see the chat there. I don't even know how to invite. Invite. Where do I even go? Stupid invite. I've invited her already. It won't allow me to invite again. No. Okay. Jolene, you here now?
No, my
Jolene,
phone's not working. What is going on today?
we can hear you. Okay. I'm going to stop recording now, and I'm going to get this ready, and I'm going to load it up to YouTube. Jolene, I want you to go.
Hi, Alex.
How's it? I want you to go watch my video before you carry on. Guys, I'm giving you an hour. I want you to do